So this is Izzy Dakota Jones with the podcast The Art of Doing. I'm here tonight hanging out with the Lost Divas, who are a group who do all kinds of live music. They do cover music. They all, as individuals, playing on original projects. You know, they all have jobs where they're musicians, either teaching, and it's like they're 24/7. They're the real deal. In a tough world right now, like in Vancouver especially, where live shows are becoming less and less, whether you're an original act or you're a cover act or you're doing both, it's tough. It's really tough right now. There's not a lot of gigs around. The city's drying up as far as live entertainment goes, locally especially. I mean, there are bigger shows and stuff that go on in Vancouver, but a lot of them. But the local acts and the local musicians just don't have the venues anymore. It's becoming slim to none. We're going to sit down and talk with them. They're one of the bands that just keep on going on and on and on. They seem to be able to find the work, and it'd be interesting to talk to them about that from that perspective, how they do it and how hard it is, and or how easy it might be for them. You know, they might got their way of they're doing it so well. They also run a jam every Sunday night, and they are having a lot of variety of different musicians over on Sunday nights, coming down to the jam, playing, hanging out together, talking, having a really good time. It's a party atmosphere down here, and if you ever get a chance to come down to the press box on a Sunday night when they're hosting the jams, it's lots of fun. It's lots of fun. Really enjoy it. Musicians get to hang out with one another and converse and create a scene, you know. So right now I'm just gonna turn the mic over and just start chatting with the people from Lost Divas, okay? Hang in there. I hope you enjoy the show. All right. I'm talking to Kelly from Lost Divas. Kelly, I've known you for a really long time.
Indeed.
How you doing? I want to figure out today, just let me know, we'll get some conversation going here, like where are you from, where you've been playing, where you got your influences from, a short little bit maybe on some road trips and stuff that you've done, and you know, I imagine you got some good stories to tell. So let's go from here.
Maybe before we get into anything, I might have to sign a disclaimer about getting to any road trips. I could still get apprehended for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where you originally from, Kel?
The jury's still out on that, man. So actually, I'm from a small town called Lamont, Alberta.
Yeah.
Northern Alberta. It's it's a quaint little place. My parents still live there. Actually, I'm going back next week to visit them still. It's a good place to go to just chill out and relax, man. Yeah. It's really quiet there. But when I was about 6 or 7 years old, we moved to Summerland, BC, a small place called Trout Creek, which is a part of Summerland. And that's where I really caught the music bug. It was listening to my oldest brother's records and hearing the magic in those records, and that's really where I went, wow, this is amazing. This is something I'd really want to pursue. And I did. So when I was about 10 or 11, I started to play the snare drum in school band. And actually, Summerland Secondary School had a huge music program, probably one of the best in BC at the time. And a lot of students were going to Berkeley College. Now, this is like the fork in the road was right there when I was in grade 7 or grade 8. And it was like, okay, am I going to become like a institutionalized musician that's going to go to Berkeley, or am I going to hang out with all these ruffians that were playing rock and roll music and, after hours in the band room? And so I went with the rock and roll ruffians, but I mean, I still learned a lot from stage band. I still stuck with that program for a bit.
Right on.
And but then my parents moved back to Alberta, and the music program was not the same in the schools. But by that time, I had already learned enough from the street, so to speak, as a musician, that I was able to put a band together and get into the scene in Edmonton. And at that time in Alberta and Edmonton, and actually probably about anywhere in Canada, the scene was really pumping, man. Like even a a town like Fort McMurray, Alberta, which is way up in northern Alberta,
been there.
There'd be 8 or 9 places to play 4 or 5 nights a week. It was just booming. So it was a great time to cut your teeth as a musician, because we got to play 24, 25 times a month playing live. So that's compared to what you see nowadays. You know, a lot of people get a chance to maybe play 1 or 2 shows a month. So
and that's interesting, because I was going to talk to all you about that. Like, you guys run a jam like here at the press box.
Yes.
And it's like there's not a lot of live venues left right now, and like your jam gets a lot of interesting people, a lot of good musicians, variety of a lot of people, and it's a nice meeting place for people to sit down and hang out and meet. And the scene here is just seemed to be like it's drying up. The live venues are, right, and it's getting less and less. I mean, for local musicians, I mean, you could look at like there's bigger shows and stuff, but that still keep coming in. But like this actual music scene here is not really there anymore. And how it so like with you guys seem to keep fairly busy, right? So how is that? Is that like is it a I guess easy way? Is it a struggle, or is it
it's always a struggle. It's always a struggle. I know for myself, to stay as busy as I stay, I have to play with a few different bands. I have to play with 3 or 4 different bands and just
keep your calendar busy.
Keep your calendar busy, and I have a recording studio at home, which we've built up. And is sounding really good. We got it dialed in, so we've had that pretty busy too. So I mean, if you want to stay a full-time musician, you have to take little bits and pieces from all over the place and compile it all together, and then it turns out to be a pretty busy calendar. As far as for Las Divas, for that band to be as busy as they are, it's really everybody taking part in getting bookings for the band. So it's
a community effort, right?
It's a community effort for that band to stay as busy as they are.
Probably for anybody, right? Really, these days.
Yeah,
right?
and I know you were mentioning before about if you really want to, I mean, there's people that go out on the road. And they do road trips and stuff like that.
And there can't be that many either, right?
There's not that many of those either.
Yeah.
I have to say I'm fortunate. I've been working pretty busy, but I have to play with 4 or 5 different bands, and I have to keep my campaign going for my studio for advertising. Like, you got constantly advertise still all the time. And it's interesting, though, because you never know who's going to... You know, you open up Gmail and you just don't know.
You don't know what's going to
what you're going to get. It's just the most interesting people. I've worked with all kinds of interesting different people that are hobbyist musicians or serious musicians or you know, it's a treat every time. It's like when you got me into do Boom Boom Room, which is a great song.
That was lots of fun. That was working with Tim Hersey.
That's right.
And Tim's interesting too, and he's another musician, right?
That's right.
That's what he's like you. He's sort of like that's what he does, right? He's either doing a studio stuff or he's playing live, right?
That's right.
And he probably has to chase stuff like you guys do. I think it's amazing. Like, you know, it's just. Like, it's amazing how it's gone from so much and then trickled right down to nothing, right? You know?
It really has, and it's interesting as well too that it's kind of like like a page is going to turn, because you look at all the farewell tours that are happening. There's just not only internationally but locally. A lot of these bands are in their twilight years. Like you take a band like Trooper. If you go and look at their tour archive, only 10 years ago they're doing 80 or 90 shows. Now they're down to maybe 20 or 30. And it's that way with a lot of those local iconic classic rock bands.
A lot of those guys are lucky because they got somebody like Bernie Aubin who does.
That's right.
He does the tours, right? He sends up the classic rock.
Canadian classic rock. If you go on their website,
have Bernie, they'd be more trouble than what
that's
right.
Oh, absolutely. But even at that, all these people are kind of in their it's only going to be 5 years, and a lot of these bands are not going to be touring anymore.
Yeah, they'll be gone.
They'll be gone.
Yeah.
And internationally, who's all on their farewell tour? Like Elton John, Leonard Skinner. Well, Kiss for real this time. For now, and so
yeah, I know what you mean. And then you got all the legends like Paul McCartney, or you got like the Rolling Stones. You got they're consistently touring now.
They're consistently touring.
Because they know they're coming to the.
Yeah, they're coming. They know what's coming to the end.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out in 3 or 4 years, because what do we got up and coming, to take its place, really?
Well, that's interesting, right? Because I think the scene is probably so diverse, and cover music is like, it's interesting, right? I mean, when we grew up, cover music was huge because you didn't have like MTV, you didn't have like all this stuff, like the internet. You didn't have that. So
no.
I mean, I don't mean to make us ageist or something, but the truth of it is like that stuff wasn't around, right? And and so if you wanted to listen to your favorite song by your favorite band or something at that moment, you'd go to the bar. Like you said, Led Zeppelin 2, if you wanted to listen to Led Zeppelin 2, you'd go watch somebody play that, or you were playing it in a band, right? And so people could get off on it, right? And dance to it or listen to it. It brings back a friendly memory or something, or they're having a real good time. That is just like, I think that started going, myself, I think that went out when we had MTV.
Yeah, well,
the minute Much Music MTV came in, especially in the bars, because I remember playing once, like, playing in bar bands for Feldman, and I was at People's Cabaret in Down the River, right?
Nice.
And I'm watching a big TV screen before, like, we went on, and MTV was just brand new, maybe a year or two in, and I just went, how can we going to compete with this?
You can't.
How are you going to compete with the real band on a video or in a live concert footage? How are you going to compete with that? You just can't. And then the only people that will want to be going to the cover thing is just you think just our age group, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's weird. I did a gig with the Twitch one night at the Princeton pub, and it was for this how can I say it, biker group. Well, they weren't a biker gang; they're a biker group, and they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're not the hipsters. They're the hipsters, right? And the hipsters didn't want to hear an original band; they wanted a cover band.
Yeah.
And it was weird, right? So we opened up for the cover band, and it was just like, this is the most bizarre thing in the world. Everybody looked like you and I did when we were kids.
Yeah.
Dressed the same friggin' way.
Wow.
And listening to, like, whether it be Born to Be Wild or Led Zeppelin.
Still classic rock.
And you're going like, holy smoke. It's like, it's almost like...
Came full circle,
right?
It has, but also, too, the music industry has... Well, entertainment industry in general has fought with technology. Usually when technology advances, things are supposed to get better. But with the entertainment industry, it actually, in a lot of ways, it hasn't. It's actually hampered it. Even if you go back to the early days, if you wanted to see any live entertainment, you went out and you saw a show in vaudeville.
Well,
vaudeville's rocking, it's happening, it's a big industry. So all of a sudden radio comes along. Radio kills vaudeville. Right? So then TV comes along, and that kind of, watered radio down a bit. And so it goes on and on like that to modern day, where recording and the recording technology and the internet and file sharing and all that has just really it's really hampered music. And even you think that with technology with listening to music would actually advance that. Well, in reality, go and get a really good record player and power amp and speakers and put on a good record and compare that to a modern day MP3.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds way better than an MP3 does. So this new demographic of music listeners, most of them have not experienced listening to vinyl. All they know is listening to an MP3, and you really are missing a lot.
Oh, you are missing a lot.
With an MP3 as to vinyl. Yeah. And not only that, it's made it harder to make a living in the music business, because when they started pressing vinyl, you couldn't really copy a record. You went to and bought Sgt. Pepper's. You didn't go home and copy it on anything.
I think the minute the industry moved to CD, they screwed themselves.
Yeah, they screwed themselves in a lot of ways. Yeah, in a lot of ways. And so all of a sudden people
could steal stuff.
Could steal music, and then the internet came up, and there's all these file sharing torrents, and next thing you know it,
the bottom drops out.
The bottom drops out, and nobody can sell albums anymore. It was only maybe 15 years ago or 10 years ago that the major artists were selling 7, 8, 9, 10 million CDs or units. Let's call them units. Now, it's hard to even sell 1 million units. Like Taylor Swift even has a hard time selling 1 million actual units of something. It's all streamed and downloaded, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of that lately too. How Spotify and all these, these internet companies are paying artists like 0.0001/6 of a cent for one stream, and you have to, to make even $10, you gotta sell like 100,000 streams.
That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you sit there and you figure out that's how we used to make money and how people would listen to music, right? And now you sit there and you shake your head and you wonder, like I got one song that's gotten for the last year and a half on
a lot of plays,
a lot of spins, right?
A lot of spins,
like over 800 to 700 spins per week, right?
Per week, that's right.
On 5 to 8, 9 stations in the U.S.
That's a lot.
And then the rest around the world. Well, if like Harvey said, who we know plays with me in my band, like Harvey says, hey, like if this was 10 years ago, we'd be making a lot money.
We'd be making a good.
And we'd be on the road, probably.
That's right.
Supporting that single.
That's right.
And nowadays, that's not even possible.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of young players in my band, right, and they're like in their 20s, right, early 20s, and they just don't understand. What do you mean we can't make any money? What do you mean we're not like getting anywhere, right? Look, you say this, but this is happening, and I said, it's not the same anymore.
It's not the same anymore. It's changed.
It's changed. And that's the whole thing. You have to learn how to adapt to that.
That's right. You have to learn how to adapt, and you owe it all to technology for that.
Yeah.
But there still is a core group of musicians out there that are doing it, because they love it. They love doing it.
Yeah.
They're recording music still because they love to create. They love the art form of music. And there's still people out there that want to see live music, and there's still people out there that will pay for that artist's music. So you just have to persevere and do it for the love of it. That kind of, in a way, I guess it kind of separated the men from the boys, so to speak, as far as who's really.
Because people, playing so many people play in bands, like we've been in bands a long time. You've got people that like, I know you persevere, I persevere. So, but then you got people we know that are maybe some of our friends that we played with or been around with, and they don't persevere.
Oh no, they just said,
and then they give up. Right? They throw it away. And say, that's enough, and that's good. That's fine.
That's fine.
But it's amazing how when you bump into these people, you still doing this?
Yeah.
And then you go, I don't know anything else better to do.
That's
this
right.
is what I love to do.
That's right.
And it's
but
fun.
you know what? There's still with those people. When I run into those people, there's still envy in.
Yes.
They're still going. I still wish I was
doing that.
I still wish I was doing that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still there's a piece
Part
of me
of
that's
it
missing.
that's missing.
Missing, and I can't fill that void with anything.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna let you get back.
Awesome.
You got a gig. You got a jam tonight.
Tonight we're running a jam tonight.
So
that's right.
Make sure you guys get down to the press box and hang out with Kelly. It's always lots of fun. And I'm gonna try to steal some more of these divas. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm here with Bryce from Lost Divas. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. I just finished talking to Kelly.
Yes.
And we're just talking about music in general, your jam that you do on Sunday nights down here, which tends to do really well. You get a lot of cool musicians, and I also think basically my thought on it is for what you guys are doing, it's a great thing considering there's not a lot of live shows anymore, especially around town, locally, especially for local musicians. It gives a chance for musicians to get together, hang out, talk, play. It's cool. It's a good thing. I'm going to ask you where you come from, like I asked Bryce, where you live, where you were born and stuff, and how long you've been playing guitar for, the standard stuff first. So,
sure.
So go for it.
All right. Well, I'll start at the beginning, as you should. I started playing guitar when I was, I think, 13 or something. I always struggle with this question, but it was definitely early, probably right when I turned 13 or so.
Okay.
And I started playing. I grew up in Campbell River. I was
cool.
on the island.
So you know People's Cabaret.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't think it's called People's anymore. It was called People's. Oh, yeah.
Something else.
Not recently.
No.
But People's, I think, turned into the Voodoo Lounge. Or no, People's was...
It did turn into something like that,
yeah,
didn't it?
Voodoo. I always get confused because there's People's, then there's like the Campbell River Lodge.
Yeah, and then there's Harpo's. There was a place called
Harpo's also changed its name, and I get mixed up what's what.
I played both places, but I mainly played the three places you named. I played them all.
I'm 90% sure
I like
People's
Campbell
became...
River. It's a cool town.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's like the Voodoo Lounge was the place, and then it became something else, and then went back to the Voodoo Lounge, but it's as sketchy as ever. So they kept that tradition alive.
Yeah.
The name changed, but it arose by any other name.
Yeah. So you grew up in Campbell River, and you played since you're 13.
Yep.
So musical influences.
Okay. I think the first thing that jumped out at me was Randy Rhoads.
Cool.
I was really into. I heard Blizzard of Oz and the tribute album.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, picked up Die of a Madman, like immediately.
Yeah.
And I heard Over the Mountain, Believer,
cool.
all that stuff, and just went, oh my god, like, right? But
I got to do this.
Yeah, but Mr. Crowley, like that guitar, like learning that guitar solo, I was like, holy moly, like that was the most daunting thing.
Yeah.
As a 13-year-old, when learning the Mr. Crowley solo is the most daunting task, I think that puts everything in perspective. Because you realize you don't really have any responsibilities, which allows you time to learn all that stuff, because you don't have any other time, you don't have anything else to fill that time with, especially if you paid as little attention in school as I did. So it's the classic story, right? I mean, it's nothing new there.
So when did you start playing in bands then? You started at 13?
Right away.
Really cool.
6 months after I picked up a guitar, I started playing in bands.
Cool.
Yep. I played in what it was a stage, they called it, but it looked more like one of those those like hot dog trailers. It looked like one of those cut in half on the inside, like vertically. So that was the stage. It was like the inside of one of those almost. Yeah, and there's video of that somewhere. So
very cool.
I was like this tall,
Wow.
You can't see, but you can't see where my hand is, but it's
imagine,
low to the ceiling.
Everybody, you can imagine
low to the floor. Yeah.
Low to the floor. And like he said earlier, do not put boiled eggs in the
microwave. Please do not microwave the boiled eggs.
The boiled eggs. Jesus. So anyways, so you did that. You started playing in bands early, and when you did you travel and tour? Is it just cover or originals, or you did both?
Okay, so I'll try and keep this brief because I do like to talk. But basically, like pretty early on, I was playing drums. So I actually played drums before I played guitar. So that was like when I was 11. So before I even played guitar, I was in like Hawaii on some family vacation. And I was playing drums in the bars there already. So that was sort of my earliest experiences, and then started playing guitar and just playing. So like basically wherever I was, I would play. So like the family would travel, like not like abroad, but like down like to Seattle or whatever, and play in little bars there. That. And especially like around the age of like 16 or so, my dad and I would go to NAMM, the NAMM convention. Every year from like 2007 on until about 2011 or something like that. So I played there too around Anaheim, and played a lot of gigs on the Sunset Strip and stuff like that. The Sunset Grill, which is not nearly as cool as it sounds. And the Whiskey too, also kind of dilapidated. The PA's blown out now.
Now it's really nice.
Yep.
I was just there.
Oh, really?
They played there last year.
Oh, I haven't been there in like 10 years or something.
They revamped the whole PA.
Oh, okay.
And they've got a great video system for when they shoot your video now.
No kidding.
And
because when I was there, it was not that.
I know. And then now it's all on stage.
Oh, cool.
Like the drums are there. Back line is all there for you.
Well, it's no coincidence.
Which I didn't know, because last time we went, last summer, I thought, we got to bring our back line.
Yep.
And you got to set up really quick. You got like 5 minutes to set up and 10 minutes, 2 minutes to tear down, right?
Yeah.
And it was not like that anymore at all. You walk in the door and you're looking, the guy goes, it's all here for you guys, so you don't need anything, right?
Yeah.
We're going, wow.
So that's totally different from what I saw.
That's because they've got now they got major acts in there, right? So like the night they always have, but the night after us, Yes was playing, right? In there with
like Kiss just did a thing there. So I think it's like a chicken and the egg thing. It's like either they got their shit together and then people started showing up, or the other way around. But either way, it's like
now it's like a major.
Because Sabbath did a press conference there, and a lot of cool things.
There's a major concert venue actually. Right.
Yeah.
Especially for the classic rock guys.
Well, because it used to be, obviously, it has all that history.
They went back that way.
Yep.
Right.
That's
Smart
cool.
move actually.
Totally. I mean, that's like when everyone talks about the Sunset Strip, they mean the whiskey, really. That's the center, the beacon. Yeah. So that's cool.
So you did that. You were down there in California, and you played all around the states.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've done some international playing.
And I did some shows with like Norman Greenbaum in Santa Rosa.
Cool.
I played Spirit in the Sky with him, which is like
Wow.
And we did California Earthquake, and everyone had a good time. It was fun.
Wow, that's cool. Norman Greenbaum, that's pretty interesting, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's some
shit,
well, and also like that it was so random too. It's not a thing that like slowly crept up. It was just I just got a call. It was like, hey, Norman Greenbaum needs a guitar player, and what do you want to do a show with him? I was like, yeah, sure. It wasn't long. It was probably 5 songs or something, but
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was great.
So also, we're talking about music. You write? Do you write your own stuff too? Yeah, you do.
I started writing when I was about 14.
You did a CD release about a year ago. So what was
that?
I can't remember.
I never released my own CD, but I've done CD releases for other people.
Because
I played on a lot of albums.
You play a lot of albums.
Yeah.
So what do you like the recording part of it?
I love it.
I mean, I love it too. I'm like that too.
I'm a geek for that stuff.
I know I am. I like it even more so than actually playing live sometimes.
Yeah.
Because live just seems to be like, I can do this, but I gotta get myself to do it.
It's like the question's always like, what do you prefer, live or in the studio? And to me, it's like I need a bit of both.
I know. You need that balance.
But if I had to pick one, I guess live, because when you're in the studio all the time, you go kind of like get like cabin fever almost.
Oh, sure.
Because there's no windows anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't even know what time of day it is.
You're just locked in.
You open the door and it's like broad daylight, and you're like, have I been up all night, or is it still?
Yeah.
But so I've done a lot of session work because when I first moved here, I had a session job kind of not waiting for me, but I came over for a meeting. So that's a long story, but essentially it ended with kind of like, hey, if you ever decide to move here, you got a job waiting for you. And I was kind of like, well, I was already planning to move here in like about 6 months anyway.
Good idea.
So that worked out. So I had a job kind of sitting there and did a lot of work there with Andrew Oldham.
Cool.
That was a really cool connecting point. Andrew Loog Oldham, he did the second volume of his Andrew Oldham Orchestra album there. Because the first one was like 68 or 69. And then volume 2 was like 2012, so I played on that one.
Cool.
Yeah. And we did Under My Thumb. I demoed a bunch of stuff, but the one that made it on the album is Under My Thumb. Yeah. I think I did Ruby Tuesday as well. I don't even know if I made it on the album, but yeah.
Wow.
That was great.
So it's been interesting. And like I was saying to Kelly also, live gigs are tougher and tougher.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, right? When we're talking about studio gigs and live gigs, I'm noticing that the venues are shrinking and they're getting less and less. So how do you beside like doing the studio stuff, how do you keep yourselves busy? Like Kelly was saying, you guys like sometimes you get together and well, not get together, but you help each other on finding the gigs for the band. Yeah. And then sometimes you guys are probably also farming out to different projects once in a while when you have to. So as a musician, you have to stay on top of your own calendar. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Ironically, funny thing is that contrary to what you're saying, live gigs are the majority of what I do. Right now, I'm doing.
So that's really good, right? I mean, in a tough time, right?
In a tough time, and it's kind of like to put all your eggs in that basket's a little crazy, but it works somehow. But you're right, it is few and far between in a way. But you can find all these little gigs, and some of them pay well, some of them don't.
It's just a part of the way the market is nowadays.
It is, and it's kind of a numbers game, but also you don't want to devalue the band either.
You got to be careful of that because there are people that I've seen that I know playing bars, cover bands. Myself, I've seen where bands have, they've gone in and undercut.
It's a slippery slope.
And you start undercutting, and then that's going to create a lot of problems.
And that's your ceiling.
Yeah,
and it's like you can't do that, but also you can't just But also, like, you can have the opposite problem where you start like maybe the bottom line is too high.
Yeah.
And then you just drown in that, right? So it's no, there's no perfect secret formula or recipe, and there's no hard set rule about like we don't play for less than whatever. It's not like I'm not saying that we'll take any gig, but I'm also saying that like it's
you have a basic a bottom line or a base to follow.
Yeah, but also like it's not really a number; it's case by case, right? You got to factor in everything. It's like, well, do we have to bring the PA and all that technical stuff that gets really tedious to listen to? Yeah. It's like it's
because some gigs nowadays there's house systems too, right?
That's right.
You're saying like the whiskey and there's house systems. That makes it even easier for.
Yeah, I mean, we could get really in depth into all that stuff if that's interesting to anyone listening to this. But I mean, the bottom line is like there's just a lot of factors. So you gotta be smart.
Yeah, you do gotta be smart.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So how many years in total you've been playing?
Let's see. I get asked this every day, and I have to think about it. I guess my first gig was like 2004.
Yeah.
So, and I was like 13.
That's right.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been going quite a while. That's
good.
That's good.
We're on 15 years now, I guess, of doing this. So.
Yeah.
So, and it's I gotta say, like, I never hit a point where I became sort of like, is this all there is? I never hit that. Like, because when you do anything for 15 years, it can seem like a grind or something.
But it's like Kelly said, like, there's I said to Kelly too, there's musicians that it's just what they do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Like, I mean, I got people come up to me all the time and saying, "You still doing this?"
Yeah, I know.
And you go,
because they don't get it.
and I go, "Well, I don't know anything else."
Yeah, I'm that's the boat I'm in, and I
don't want to know anything else.
Yeah.
Even in bad times, or you know what I mean, if things are down a bit, or something goes not the way you want it to. You know, I mean, you think, what am I doing here? But then after a while, you're like, I'm fine with that. That's just part of the landscape of the way things are, right?
Yeah.
And when things are good, they're good, and when they're not, right? And I can roll with the punches.
Yeah. It's like I heard David Lee Roth recently say, like very recently, he said like, he goes, I dig the prep. Actually, I've heard him say that a bunch of times, but he elaborated on that more recently. He said like, when you're in rehearsal, you got time and you can correct things and you can get really in depth with it. But like by the time of the gig, the monitor sucks, the guitar player's too loud, everything goes wrong. But the prep, that's where everything's kind of controlled, and also the studio too for the same reason. I thought that was kind of interesting. Because you live for the gig, right? You don't appreciate the prep because you're just trying to get to the gig. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
I actually agree with him because I like rehearsing. I rehearse once a week with my band.
Yeah.
I have two bands, once a week with either one of them, right? And 3 hours of rehearsal. It doesn't seem like enough. I actually like the experience of sitting there and writing a tune and going over the spots, and each of us, debating what are we going to do here? Are we going to do this here? Sometimes I sit down with one of the girls I sing with in my band. We spend time just on the lyrics. Right?
Yeah.
And we'll have a drink, have some dinner. Yeah. We're all sitting down chatting.
You can move at your own pace.
And you move at your own pace, and it's just. But at the
and that's the bohemian
that's
thing.
The fun.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. Like you said, you go out and play live, anything can happen live, right? Wherever you're playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, whatever. You just fly and you just go and see your pants and just hope that things work out fine, right?
Absolutely.
Out of rehearsal, right?
Yeah, that's sort of like I don't want to say that's like a new realization for me or anything, because I have enjoyed rehearsal many times, but not always. Sometimes I find it tedious or whatever. But that's just because like my brain doesn't change direction easily. So like if I'm in like a recording mode, it's hard for me to like just do a gig all of a sudden.
That's interesting.
That's not a challenge, but it's certainly something I'm mindful of.
How are you like on the creative side of it when you're actually creating? Are you like zoned right in? Are you like, are you easy distracted, or are you right, you're homing in on your piece of it, or? I
wish I was one of those guys that could like sit down and just write a song start to finish, because I'm not, and that makes it tough. But at the same time, there's this weird thing where what I do is I essentially I like sort of stockpile bits and pieces.
Right.
And I just have this mental log of them. The thing I can keep track of is like all my riffs. Like I probably have like hundreds still unused, but riffs, and not just riffs, but also chord changes and melody ideas and stuff. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they'll just start falling together. So like on one hand, I may not have written a new song in like months, and at the same time, I'll have like 12 new songs in like a week. Because I have this stockpile to pull from. So I like kind of like just letting things sort of, at the risk of sounding pretentious, channel through me, and then and then just letting it lie in a big pile, and then I'll be in a different headspace to arrange all of that, and that's sort of how I write, and it's very ineffective, but it works. I like the results.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it works for you. I mean, I write a song a week.
Yeah.
And it could be crap.
Yes.
But I still write it.
And that's what everyone should do. I wish I was doing that. I was doing that at one point, and I'm not anymore.
I do that, and then when I do that, sometimes once in a blue moon, I will come up with a complete thing.
Right.
Very rare, very rare.
Yeah.
And then we'll write a song. I'll write a song with everybody, and I'll bring an idea in, and sometimes it sparks.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't.
Absolutely.
It just sits there like a boiled egg.
Now that's what we call in the comedy business a callback joke. Not that I'm in that business, but I pretend I am.
That's a whole other field.
That's right.
It's another lifetime.
But at the same time, there's so much overlap, right? It's all bits, and it's all you got to make a show out of it and everything. Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's all the same stuff, but it's like the one time ever did I write lyrics from start to finish, and that was like when I was like in a fever dream.
Yeah,
and it barely made sense, but then when I came to, they kind of did make sense.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Because I've done that maybe once or twice where I wrote lyrics that I really liked everything. I mean, we in my hard rock band we just wrote a song and released it, and it was really funny because I wrote the lyrics and then my partner wrote the chorus, the lyrics and the chorus. None of it fits.
Right. And the funny thing is, if you're in a weird headspace, you'll be really stubborn and try and make it work for hours. And I've wasted hours of my life.
We listened to the recording back and go, this doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't work at all. Yeah.
And we said, but nobody else knows that. Until we give a shit. Right?
I'm still learning how to collaborate in that way because I've done that. I remember, I spent my whole life writing by myself, so I thought, well, I'll just collaborate with someone. How hard can it be? It's really hard if you don't know how to do it.
You know what? It's really hard, but I kind of like it. I like it a lot because I wouldn't play in a band, right? You know what I mean? Of course. I would just do it myself.
Yeah.
And I think the harder part is working with producers.
Yep.
Because producers, depending who they are, they have a vision of how you sound and how how they're listening to the music back, and sometimes that vision is a little different from yourself. Right?
Well, and there's as many different ways of producing as there are songs in the world.
Yes, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what
there's like a Mutt Lange. Who's like very hands-on and crafts everything with you.
Yes.
And then there's like a Martin Birch who like just kind of let the tape roll.
Yeah.
And just was like, I don't like that song, or I do like that song.
Yeah.
But also just let them write the song. So it's then there's everything in between. Yep.
It varies, I know there's people that I work with, like Bill Buckingham's the guy I work with in town. And Bill will, he'll sit there and listen. He'll go, Bryce, that's really cool there, but can you do this here?
Yes.
And you'll go, what?
Yeah.
Do it. Trust me. Just do it. And, and then he'll feed off you, but and then sometimes people go back, well, I played that and now he took it out. Right?
Yeah. Totally.
And you go, well, because now he listened to it back, and what he thought was working didn't appeal to him at that point. And I says, and then you might think, well, that was the best thing you did, but in the end, he's producing it because it's coming back at him.
Because he's got fresh ears or fresher ears or whatever,
and
right?
And he's got no bias.
Yes.
And bias is so important.
He has no dog in that fight.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Other than just to make the song good, which is a pretty good dog to have in that fight, so to speak, in a manner of speaking.
No, that's good. So I'm gonna wrap it up with you because I know you got to get up there and get set up for the gym.
But also, this could go on for 2 more hours, and I'd be happy.
I'd be happy too. I love talking to you. You're great. I told Kelly maybe the three of us we should do our own podcast.
I'm into that. I mean, I was thinking of the same thing not long ago, but I have so much shared geekiness with all the band history and stuff like we've talked about. Cream and Zeppelin and whatever for hours, right?
I mean, Well, I grew up with those guys, right? So we're down here by the P&E where they do the jam, and the thing is, as a kid, I went to all those concerts,
Yes.
right? You know,
Just down the road, yeah.
Just down the road
Yeah.
here, and I was like 10 years old, and I'm seeing these bands, right, for $5.
Right.
You know, now you go like pay $300-$400.
I saw Paul McCartney in the nosebleeds for $150, I think. So you know.
Yeah, I know it's weird, right?
That was
I mean,
like
I
5
think
years ago.
I saw Paul McCartney in Seattle.
Yep.
And with the Real Wings, right? You know,
Right.
with Denny Lane and his Linda, and I saw that, and I think I paid like $100.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And I had a fourth row seat.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, it's just like, and now that would be like, I looked on the thing that's like $600, $700,
whatever it is,
$800.
yeah, a grand,
I'm
yeah.
going like, are you kidding me? Like,
It's bananas.
It's like, what the hell has happened, right?
Yep.
Unreal.
For sure.
Well, I want to thank you. That was great, and good luck tonight, and with all your endeavors coming forward.
Yep. I'd love to come back. So let me know when you want me back.
Okay. We're here, and who we got here? We got Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen.
We have
Peg.
Charlotte. Okay, so you guys have a jam on Sunday nights here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's every Sunday night?
Every
Yeah.
Sunday.
Every Sunday night?
Going strong for 3 years.
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
years now?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
3 years.
Okay. So you
Three
have
and a half.
Oh,
3.5.
3.5.
It's 3.5.
Wow,
now.
time flies.
Okay, it's
when you're
flying.
having
If
fun.
that half really counts. You gotta have that half in there. It's gonna be pretty soon 3, 4.5. I mean 4.
Yeah.
Can't count now. It's too late at night. Anyways, you have a lot of different people coming out. A lot of variety in music.
I
right?
do, yeah, every
Yeah,
kind. Everybody comes out.
Yeah,
You guys?
and I notice it's quite everybody sort of gets to know everybody here, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty
like a
friendly.
family.
Yeah,
It's like a
definitely.
family after a while, right?
Even my family and your family, our families come to visit from far away. My family was here from New Brunswick, and Charlotte's family was here from Europe.
Okay,
And your brother was here
Yeah.
from Eastern Canada, Central and Eastern Canada as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So
They all
like,
come.
so anyways, Jen, you're from whereabouts? You're from
I'm from Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah,
Whereabouts in Ontario?
Toronto, Scarborough, Ontario.
Oh, Scarborough. I've
Yeah.
been there. Yeah.
Scarborough. Bye.
A lot of Jamaican people
Bye,
in
Lainey.
Scarborough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Lots of
where
dancing
You're
and
from New
culture.
Brunswick?
Moncton, yeah.
Moncton. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay. And whereabouts in France you from?
I'm from Toulouse. Let's say from Toulouse. It's
Okay. And where's Toulouse? Whereabouts?
southwest.
Southwest. Okay. And so, how long have you been here in Vancouver for?
4 years now.
Okay, 4 years. And how long have you been here?
Oh gosh, can't even say it, like a long time.
A long time is good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
a
you
couple
just-
of decades.
Almost
3 years now.
Almost 3 years. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so you guys.
She's going to be a Canadian citizen
I was just gonna
soon.
say.
Couple months, it will
Yeah.
be 3 years.
There you
3
go.
years.
There you go. Wow, that's great. So influences. What's your musical influences?
My musical influences. I really
This is
like
Jen.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Okay.
too.
Yeah, I love.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
Marvin
love
Gaye.
everything
Me
though.
too.
There's
Love
good
Marvin
music
Gaye.
in every genre.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And that's what I
Yeah.
love about here is that you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a rainbow, a variety,
Yeah.
you know?
Variety
That's
of different
right.
styles.
And then people that have different styles are also mixing and mingling amongst
Yeah.
each other, creating new kind of music.
And we
So
felt
that's
that was
nice.
important for our jam, not to make it like a specific genre type of jam. It was
Yeah.
just like music.
Yeah.
So other jams, it's great, but they have to, like, it's a country jam or a rockabilly or a blues jam. We just keep it open.
Just keep the music flowing, right?
Yeah, keep the surprises coming.
Yeah, and
because
you'll-
we get French music, we get people that come in from France and
Yeah.
Claude, or
Yeah. There you go.
Canadian French.
And we have Peggy here, who rocks the bass,
There you go.
bass guitar.
So
like a rock star.
how long's Lost Divas been playing?
about 3 years.
3 years too,
I mean,
right?
here we this band kind of started with this jam, and look, people start song
See,
circles
people just
from
break
the
out in
distance.
song.
That's right.
No matter what you do here, right? Okay, that's all right. All right. So I'm
fun.
sure everybody at home's liking that. That's all right. See, this is a reason why you come down here, right?
And we have, I don't know if we want to mention the P&E, but
Oh yeah, that's
we
right.
had a lot of people coming from the.
Well, you're so close, right,
Yeah.
to everything here, right?
If you want cheaper drinks, come here before the P&E.
and great food. Pacific
yeah.
National Exhibition right next to us, big tourist place in Vancouver here.
That's cool. So every Sunday,
Every Sunday.
and you guys are all going to be here every Sunday?
From 8 till 12 p.m.
Yeah. Every Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody and check out the jam at the Press Box on Sundays, every Sunday.
Joe,
Thank you.
before you cut it off,
Saints
the
and
bass player,
sinners!
the bass player,
Woo!
this girl's awesome.
There you go. Take care.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out. So, anyways, that is the podcast with Lost Divas, and it was a great little interview. I hope everybody will enjoy this one, and don't forget to check the Lost Divas out at their jam every Sunday at the Press Box in East Vancouver. They're helping keeping live music alive in the city of Vancouver. All right, this is Izzy Dakota Jones, and this is The Art of Doing. Take care.